Welcome to this quick ChilloutVR CCK 2.2 rundown for avatar creation. In this video I will explain things like downloading Unity and the correct CCK version, importing the CCK and connecting it to your Abby account, importing your avatar, setting up the CVR Avatar component, which is the avatar descriptor, toggle states as well as advanced avatar settings, which includes the trigger and pointer mechanic, and I'll also touch up on some Unity components which are compatible with avatars. This video is divided into sections, therefore you can skip to whichever section you like if you're only interested in one of these things. So, let's begin. In order to download the correct Unity and CCK versions, go to cck.cvr.gg. Here you will find links to the currently recommended Unity version and the newest CCK. This page is always being updated by the developers, therefore you should always visit it if you're in doubt. Download both, install the correct Unity version, open it, and I'll see you in the next section of the video. Once you are in Unity, import the CCK package. This might take a while. You can now go into the folder and confirm that everything is here. Now at the top, click the Alpha Blend Interactive menu and open the panel. Now we need to go to the official website, which is abinteractive.net, and we have to log in into our account. Once you're in, click on the Access Key Manager. Now copy API Content Creation Kit master key. Now we can go back to Unity. Now that we have everything ready, we can type in our username, which is the name displayed in the game, and we can paste in our key. And just click the button. Now we are fully authenticated, our CCK is connected. We can just drag this window next to the hierarchy so it's easy to access. And that's the whole process of importing the CCK. Now that we have our CCK imported, we can import our avatar. I have imported my shaders separately for the sake of the video. So import your avatar. One important thing to mention here is that you should not import the VRC SDK because it will interfere with the CCK and it will not let you upload your avatar. Same goes for any old scripts which were written for Unity 2018 because they might simply not compile and give you errors. You should also avoid importing any outdated shaders because they might give other people performance issues or they might simply not compile and Unity will give you errors. Now let's go to our folder. If your materials look like this, you just need to click anything in the shader options to refresh them. Now on the mesh itself, we want to go to the rig. If yours is already configured, just in case change it back to none, apply it, then back to humanoid or whatever else you need. Now we want to click on configure. Here you want to make sure that your bones are assigned properly. So for example, I am missing a chest bone. That's why I'm going to manually drag it in. Apply your changes and check the rest. Here I don't want the jawbone, so I'm going to remove it. The rest seems fine. Therefore I'm going to apply everything, I'm going to click done. Now our avatar is fully ready, you can drag it into the scene. In my case I'm missing the materials, so I'm going to go to my body. I'm going to drag the materials in. Now our avatar is ready and we can proceed with the CVR Avatar component. So now that our avatar is ready, we can proceed with adding the CVR Avatar component. So click on the avatar. Before we begin, we need to take a look at the animator. We have the avatar slot. Normally this avatar slot will be empty. So we need to add our avatar here. So open the mesh and you'll have this little guy here. He's generated by creating the rig configuration. So let's go back, let's drag him into the slot. And that's done. Now we can add our CVR Avatar component. So by default, your identifier will be empty. This identifier will be automatically generated as you upload your avatar, so you don't have to worry about that. Now we want to enable our gizmos so we can see the view and voice positions. We want to drag these guys into the right locations. So I'm going to drag my voice to the face. And I'm going to drag my view position. And I'm going to position it roughly between the eyes. Slightly inside of the head. And that's done. The next thing we need to do is create the animation override. As you can see, by default it's empty, so let's create our own. Create. Let's create an override. Now we can drag it into the slot. And on the override itself, we need to select the right controller. So let's select the avatar animator, which is the default one which comes with the CCK. Okay, our animator is ready. Now we need to set up the mesh for the visemes. In my case, it's the body, so I'm just going to drag it in. Now I can use the eye movement, which is the movement generated by the game itself. You don't have to worry about making your own custom animations. This movement is defined by the weight of the weight paint on the eyes. I also want the blinking, so I'm going to select this box and I'm going to select the blink blend shape that I have. You can select more than one. Here you also need to select your visemes. In my case, I'm not using any, but you can also select them automatically. And that's done. Your CVR avatar component is ready. Your avatar is ready to be uploaded and tested in the game. So let's go to our menu here and let's click on upload. This step will take a while because it's compiling our avatar. Now you'll see this menu. Here you can see the tag system used for the avatars. So CVR supports tags where you can specify what is on your avatar. So if you're using particle effects, your avatar can spawn audio, it has flashing colors, violence, gore, anything like that, not safe for work stuff. You can specify all of that here. And this is used for people who might suffer from different conditions like epilepsy, or streamers who might not want to see not safe for work content while they're streaming. So make sure you're always selecting the correct tags no matter what, because if your tags are incorrect, your avatar might get removed. So in my case, my avatar is safe for work. I don't need to select anything else. You also have a small icon here, which you can click to see the size of your avatar. So in my case, everything is correct. I'm just going to click continue. So I'm going to enter the name of my avatar, the description. You have to check these boxes, make sure you read everything. Before I'll upload, I can also change the camera. So as you can see, I have a preview. I can go to my scene, and in the hierarchy, I have this camera object. I can just move it around and change the icon of my avatar. Now to select this, upload, and that's it. Our avatar is now fully uploaded to the game, and we can try it out in the game now. So in the game, I'm going to click on avatars, I'm going to hit refresh, I'm going to go to my avatars, and I'm going to change them to the avatar I just uploaded. As you can see, my avatar is fully operational, my gestures work, therefore we can proceed to the next step. Toggle states is this small menu on the home page. This is basically like a small shortcut menu for your animations. I'll show you how to use that using the CCK. So now inside of Unity we want to create some animations. So I'm going to use my Discord band that I have on my arm, and I'm going to turn it off and on. So in order to create toggle states, click on your avatar itself and open the animation window. Now, as you can see, I don't have access to any animations here, and that's because we don't have a controller attached to our animator component. So go to your animator component and select the override, for example. Now we have access to all of our animations, and we're going to make a new clip. I want to make a folder for my animations. And I'm going to change the name, something. Okay, now we can press the record button, and for the default stay I'm going to turn off the band. Now I press the record off, and that's my one animation done. Now I create a new clip, and I'm going to call this toggle 1, or okay, toggle 1. Okay, for this animation I will record again, I will re-enable my Discord band, and I'll stop the recording. And just for fun I'm going to make one more. In this animation I will, let's say, mess with my material. Let's say that I'll increase the emission of my material. I want to change that, stop the recording, and my animation is done. Now, only this animation has this value, so I'm going to copy it, going to paste it in another one for the default state, and I'm going to change the value to 0. Now, you don't have to do that, but I will want to demonstrate something. Now let's go to our override, and let's attach the animations to the toggle default state. Toggle 1 and toggle 2. And that's it. That's the whole toggle state system. Now we can upload our avatar and test the animations in the game. So back in the game, remember to refresh your avatars, change into your newly uploaded avatar, and then go to the home page. Now we have our toggle states here. By default, I'm on a default state. That's what you see right now. Now I switch to the toggle state 1 and my band is here. Now I'm going back to default and my band is gone. Now to 3 and my emission is up. Now to 1 and the emission is gone. But remember, I didn't set the emission change on the toggle state 1, so it automatically reverts that change. So for toggle states, that's it, and let's move on to the advanced avatar settings. So back in Unity, we will create some advanced avatar settings now. So you want to click on your avatar, and in the CVR Avatar component, you want to scroll to the very bottom, and you have Enable Advanced Settings. You want to click that. Here we want to do some small changes. So make sure your base animator is selected as Avatar Animator. This is the basic CCK animator, and all of the advanced settings will be stacked on top of it. Then in the override controller, we want to select our override. This will allow us to preserve the settings in case we will regenerate the advanced avatar settings after some changes. So now we want to click the plus button. In here, you can select a name for your parameter, which will be displayed in the game. So whatever you configure here in this menu will be used to generate the in-game menu for your avatar settings. So let's say I'm going to call this Discord armband. You have different types for your advanced avatar settings. This one is a game object toggle. You have a bunch of those, as you can see. Some can be used to manually switch different material parameters. Some can be used to rotate objects in 3D space. You have a lot to choose from. I won't be covering all of them because there's really no need. They are very simple, and even if you don't know how to use some, you can generate some basic animations and just see how they are done. It's really very easy. So for the game object toggle, we want to add an object, and I'll demonstrate what I meant by just checking out how things work. So let's say I'll attach whatever the CCK requires. So I'm going to attach my Discord armband here, and I'm going to create an animator. This will generate a new folder for advanced avatar settings. This will generate you a new controller and an override, as well as the default animations for the parameter that you have configured. So in my case, it's the Discord armband. So if you'll access the animation, you'll see that one of the animations turns it off, and the other animation turns it on. So it's very simple. You can just generate the default animations and see how it works for each type of the advanced avatar setting. So I'm just going to remove those, or maybe I'll keep them, but I'll just make my own instead. Because you don't need to attach anything here. It's really not necessary. This is only used to generate the basic animations for you. You can just make your own animations without a problem. So let's go back to our animations. As you can see, I don't have anything here because my override is not referring to a controller anymore, which exists. So let's go to our controller, or rather the override, and you have to assign the controller again. So in my case, I'm going to assign the advanced avatar settings controller this time. As you can see, I have a new fields here. Toggle off and toggle on for my Discord armband. Now let's go back to the animation window and create new clips. I'm going to go back to my animations folder, and I'm going to call this Discord on. I'm going to hit record, go back to my Discord object, enable it, hit record off, and I'm going to make the off animation. And in this case, I'm going to disable the object. That's about it. You need to go back to your override. Now in these fields, just select the correct animations. And that's done. Your toggle for the Discord armband is done. Now let's make another one. Let's say I'm going to make a slider. Let's say a mission. I'm going to select a slider type. A slider type requires two animations. One animation with the minimum values that are going to correspond to the zero value on the slider, and another animation for the max values, which is going to correspond for the max value of the slider. So let's go back to the animation window and let's make a new clip. Let's say emission min. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to go to my body and I'm going to change the emission to 0 back, so it just appears on my list here. I'm going to hit record again. That's my animation done. And I'm going to make another one for the max values. Once again, record, change the value to max emission, as you can see, and record off. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to click on my override. And as you can see, it's not here. I'm only having these Discord armband animations. That's because every time you add something new or change something, you have to create animator again. So once we'll do that, we have to go to our override again. We need to select the controller. And as you can see, unfortunately, currently CCK doesn't support transferring over of the previously set overrides. So unfortunately, you'll have to do it over and over again every time you change the advanced avatar settings. So I'm going to reattach my Discord animations, and I'm going to attach my emission max animation and my emission min animation. And that's it. These animations are done. I can now proceed to upload the avatar and test them in a game. So in the game, we want to access the advanced avatar settings menu. And in here, we'll have our generated parameters. So I have one for the Discord armband and one for the emission. So let me move the menu. As you can see, if I'm toggling this one, my armband appears or disappears. If I'll change the slide bar, my emission becomes stronger and weaker. The cool thing is that you can create your own profiles. So let me make profile number 1. And let's say that I will change this and increase the emission. You can save the value. It even says so. And I'll do another one, 2, and I'll change the values again. Now I can switch between those two. You can also use this to create a default settings for your advanced avatar settings. So the system is quite advanced, but it's really very simple to use. So the last thing we'll discuss today are the pointers and triggers, which is a really cool system. Pointers and triggers are allowing you to make your avatar interactive. So you can touch spots on your body, physically touch spots in your body, and trigger things on your avatar. And the cool thing is that it's also networked, and other people can also touch your avatar and make things happen. So let's say I've opened my armature here. I'm going to go the easy way now for the sake of the video. I won't be going through like parent constraints and stuff. So I have my left arm and I have my right arm. On my left arm, I have my index finger. And on this index finger, I'm going to put a pointer. So I have my CVR pointer. You also have these other ones, CVR Advanced Avatar Settings pointer and Toggle State pointer. Don't use those two, because these guys will be removed. Only use the CVR pointer. So I'm going to put a pointer on my finger. I guess the gizmo, oh yeah, there's the gizmo. As you can see, I have this little pointer. Now I need a trigger. So let's go to my right wrist and let's put a toggle state trigger. Doesn't really matter. So let's put both. No, I don't want to do that. Let's move this by this amount. Let's make this slightly bigger, maybe. So you can just set these pointers however you like, however size you like, it doesn't really matter. So here, for the toggle states, you see the toggle state ID. This basically refers to the number of the toggle state. 0 is the default state, and everything from 1 to 7 are the, the other states, basically. So if I'll go to, this is actually not the one. If I'll go here, default is 0, toggle state 1 is going to be setting ID 1, 2, up to 7. So that's self-explanatory. So if I'll upload this now, if I'll touch the trigger using this pointer, nothing will happen because I'll just switch to the default state. So let's say I'll do toggle state ID 2. Now let's upload the avatar and see how it works in the game. So unfortunately, as I was recording this video, it turned out that CVR pointers don't work with toggle state triggers on the experimental game version that I'm currently on. So instead of going to show you a different avatar, but instead of CVR pointers, I'm using toggle state pointers. But it looks exactly the same. So for the sake of demonstration, it's okay. So I have different toggle states here. My toggle state 2 gives me a ball in my hand. And I have a pointer in the ball itself. And I have the same trigger in my other hand. So if I'll touch the hand with the ball, it changes the hand. So it changed to toggle state 3. Now 2, 3, you can see how it changes. So now we are back in Unity, and I have replaced the toggle state trigger with an advanced avatar settings trigger. They act the same way. You use a pointer to make them do something, but advanced avatar settings triggers are way more advanced. That's why I keep saying that you should probably not use toggle states as much, because you can achieve everything using advanced avatar settings that you can achieve using toggle states anyway. So in advanced avatar settings trigger, the only difference is that you have a setting name instead of the toggle state ID. So I'm going to select my Discord armband, and then you have the setting value. So this basically means to which value will the parameter be set after you'll interact with it using a pointer. If it's 0, then every time I'll use a pointer on this trigger, the Discord armband setting will go back to 0, which means it'll always disable my armband. If I'll change it to 1, this trigger will always enable the armband. But the cool thing about the advanced avatar settings triggers is that you can enable the advanced mode. And now the real fun begins. You have allowed pointers. You can increase this size. Let's say 3. Now you can specify specific pointers in this field. So for the sake of my configuration, let's change it to 1. I can assign this pointer that I have on my index finger, and now only this pointer can interact with this trigger. Therefore, you can limit your triggers to specific pointers, which allows you to do very advanced configurations where you might have an object which is spawned, and then that object has a trigger, and then you can limit that trigger only to a specific pointer on your finger, and you can like make all sorts of weird interactions. Then another thing is that you can specify if people can interact with this trigger over the network. Then you have on-enter triggers and on-exit triggers. So here you can do specific actions. So let's say I'm going to do both for Discord armband. So when the pointer will enter the trigger, it'll trigger the on-trigger event. When the pointer will exit the trigger again, it'll trigger the on-exit event. So on enter, I would like to set the setting value to 1. And on exit, I would like to set it to 0. So once I'll put the pointer inside of the trigger, it'll trigger my Discord armband. If I'll remove the pointer from the trigger, it'll disable the Discord armband. Then another thing is that you have the delay value. And using the delay, you can specify how long you have to keep the pointer inside of a trigger to trigger this. So let's say that for on enter, I'll set it to 1. So I'll have to keep the pointer inside of the trigger for 1 second to display the trigger, to display the Discord armband. And then when I'll remove the pointer, it'll immediately disappear. Another thing that we have here is the update method. By default, it's set to override, so it's just going to set the value of the setting to whatever you specify here. But you can also change it to add or subtract. And that's when the cool things start to happen, because you can theoretically configure things like weapons with a limited ammo size, and once the ammo runs out, you can do a custom state machine where it plays an animation that a gun is playing a sound, that you have no ammunition in your magazine and you have to reload. Like you can configure really advanced things using this. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it on override for both of these. So let's upload this avatar and see what happens. So now, as you know, I have a pointer on my finger and I have a trigger in my hand, and it'll trigger 1 second after I will put the pointer inside of the trigger. So you can avoid situations like accidental triggering and stuff. So I put the finger in, my armband triggers. I leave the finger, it immediately disappears. And that's basically it when it comes to triggers and pointers. So the last thing I would like to touch upon are other components which are compatible with avatars. So first we have colliders. You can actually use colliders to push people around, to lift them up and stuff like that. Unfortunately, right now it doesn't support physics, so you cannot like toss people or anything like that, but I guess maybe in the future. Another thing are particle system or the collision component of the particle systems. You can enable that and push people using your particles. And the cool thing is that you can set up things like the force of this collision. So you can like yeet people like, hundreds of meters away with like a single particle. Another thing are particle force fields. You can actually play around with your particles, and to play around with the particles you have to enable external forces on them. The cool thing is that these particle force fields are networked, so you can have two people interact with the particles together, so they can like transfer the particles between their force fields and like play around with like different settings and stuff. Another thing, of course, are dynamic bones. You can interact with dynamic bones of other people in the game. You can create dynamic bones for the hair, for the ears, for the tail, whatever you like. It all works. And the last thing are physics materials. You can actually use physics materials to create trampolines or anything you really like. So in terms of extra components, I think that's about it. I hope I didn't miss anything. In case I did, I'll be probably remaking this video in the future anyway. So yeah, that's the end of the tutorial. It's been quite a lengthy one for a quick tutorial. Once again, I'm sorry for my raspy voice. I have a bit of a cold today, but I didn't want to delay this video just because of that. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in CVR soon. See you later, and take care.